Hello, I'm John Cunningham. Welcome to the RedChip Money Report. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with executives of three public companies. First, cbdMD, stock symbol YCBD on the New York Stock Exchange American. cbdMD is a nationally recognized CBD brand generating rapid revenue growth. Later in the show, we'll speak with the chairman and CEO to learn about what's driving their growth and how they plan to be the leading brand in the space. The next featured company is Envision Solar. Their stock symbol is EVSI on the NASDAQ. Envision Solar is a leading producer of unique and sustainable solar infrastructure products for electrical vehicle charging, energy security, and outdoor media. We'll talk about the company's 300% growth in 2018, and more later in the show, we will speak with the CEO. Our final company interview today is with DGLY, stock symbol DGLY on the NASDAQ. DGLY specializes in designing and manufacturing video recording equipment and analysis solutions for primarily law enforcement applications, and they're expanding into commercial fleet operations and consumer use. Later, you will see an interview with the CEO. Now, before we get to our first interview, our quote of the week, it comes from the book, Small Stocks, Big Money. Management is the key asset of a great company, particularly in small companies with limited resources. Bet on the team shaping the strategy and executing on the business. This quote comes from Chapter 7 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. The book is available on our website as well as Amazon.com. Now let's get to our first company interview today. It's with cbdMD, stock symbol YCBD on the New York Stock Exchange American.
Marty, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Now, you announced record results in your most recent quarter, in fact, well ahead of targets. So talk to us about the growth you've experienced year to date, and what are the longer-term expectations for growth?
Yeah, we were very pleased with our first full quarter as cbdMD, our March quarter, where we reported about $5.7 million in revenue. As we said on our earnings call, that was significantly ahead of where our internal projections had us estimated. Our revenue earnout targets to the purchase of cbdMD had us at $20 million for calendar 2019, and to get off on a strong start like that was very exciting. We haven't given out guidance as of yet, but what I can tell you is we are probably over a year ahead of pace that we expected the company to be on when we did our earnout targets in November of 2018. So expect big things coming in the quarter we're in and beyond, and we're seeing very strong growth.
Marty, could you comment briefly on the Farm Bill and how that has impacted the industry?
Yeah, so the Farm Bill, which was passed in December of 2018, had a provision in there which made CBD federally legal as long as you don't put in more than 0.3% of THC inside of it. At cbdMD, we don't put any THC inside of our products, but it was a big game changer. It has effectively opened the floodgates for the CBD industry in the United States. And as you could probably tell, we're seeing a tremendous upside to the growth of not only our business, but also we're seeing the entire industry growth due to the passage of that legislation.
Absolutely. Now, sponsorships play a big role at cbdMD. Talk to us about your strategy and some of the celebrity athletes you've signed that are out there representing the brand today.
Right. Yeah. No, our strategy on the sponsorship side is kind of one of the main pillars of how we get the word out about our product. We find it to be a tremendously suited way of getting new customers. One of our biggest is Quentin Rampage Jackson, who's UFC heavyweight champion. He was with us at the New York Stock Exchange on May 1st. And recently we've added in the PGA, Bubba Watson, who we're super excited about. And Bubba joined us on May 1st and really puts us as one of the leading CBD companies on the PGA Tour. It's a great way for us to get our name out to the public, and something that that I think people love to go root for their favorite athletes. And the one thing we love about it is our athletes use our products. We find that athletes that use our product and count on our product is a great way to get across to our new customers.
Excellent. Marty, give us a quick overview of the product portfolio and your plans to expand that moving forward, particularly in the pet market.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have topicals, recovery creams, we have ingestibles, we have capsules, tinctures, which is our best-selling line, as well as gummies, which I love. And we also have on the pet line a growing line under our new brand Paw, which is going to be coming out this month. You're going to be seeing a very expanded line of pet products. We think the pet line is going to be big for us. We think it's going to be north of 20% of our overall business. Wouldn't be surprised if it even got up to a third of our overall business. We're excited about the relaunch of that brand, but under Paw, powered by cbdMD. We think that's a great brand, and we're excited about that. And we think that's going to sell well, not only to our retail, but also in the wholesale distribution channels.
And you do have a superb management team to drive this growth. Talk to us about some of the key players.
Sure. Well, we have a great board of directors, very strong, with a lot of diverse backgrounds. So that sort of is at the top. Obviously, I've been in the public company space for close to 30 years, and my partner, so to speak, in the business, Scott Kaufman. Scott is a very successful, long-time brand builder. Scott's most notable achievement is the starting of Blue, which was one of the most successful e-cigarette launches, and how Scott did that to build the brand, ultimately sell it to the tobacco giant Lorillard within 3 years, is really an exceptional story. We just have, I think, a really solid team. Mark Elliott, our CFO, longtime public company experience. So in a new industry, people are looking to try to attract great, talented management people. I think we already have that. We're not losing our entrepreneurial focus. We all are at our heart entrepreneurs. And so, we are excited about keeping that focus alive, because that allows us to grow and move in a way that, I think is special for entrepreneurs.
Marty, to recap, what's the main takeaway for investors today?
When you look at our company and you see the growth rate that we are seeing, we saw a sequential growth rate of 55%. So from our December to our March quarter, we had a 55% growth rate. A lot of our public company peers, surprisingly, had very little sequential growth rate. You're going to see a company that does an incredible job of selling and marketing our product. But the key to us is brand. Brand is what we believe will differentiate companies over the next 24 months as this industry starts to really grow and become the size that we all anticipate. I think we make decisions on how it affects our brand. And so you're going to see cbdMD as, I think, the brand in the United States. You're going to have a name that you trust and recognize, a name that's in retailers across the country. We obviously started as an e-commerce platform, And we did last year over 80% of our business e-commerce. That continues to remain strong. I think we're always going to be probably over 50% e-commerce, but the retail piece is really starting to pick up. We had 600 retail stores 5 months ago. We're well over 2,000 now, and that number will continue to climb. So all in all, if you want to get involved in the CBD space, and you're looking for a company that is focused on brand and focused on expansion in the United States and can deliver solid results, I would think cbdMD is a company that you should take a strong look at.
Marty, thanks for sharing your thoughts today. Great to be with you.
Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate you having us.
Now, to get more information about cbdMD, visit YCBDinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. Now, it's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You also can call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. Now, let's go to our second company interview today with Envision Solar. Their stock symbol is EVSI on the NASDAQ.
Desmond, thanks for being with us today.
Well, it's my great pleasure, and thanks for having me here to talk about my favorite subject, which is Envision Solar.
Well, first, I want you to talk to us about your products today.
Yeah, so we design, engineer, patent, actually invent first, and manufacture a solar-powered, or a set of solar-powered products for three market verticals. The first is the electrification of transportation. So while we're not in electric vehicle charging as such, we provide an infrastructure solution for electric vehicle charging. The second market vertical that we go after is outdoor media. Again, solar powered and sustainable products for the outdoor media industry. And then the third is energy security, by which we just mean a more reliable source of electricity than that which you get when you're connected to the utility grid, which is, of course, susceptible to blackouts and brownouts. Our products will continue to operate during those times.
Talk to us more about the infrastructure product, and of the three products that you just mentioned, where do you derive most of your revenue?
Oh, yes. Well, I'll start with the second question first. Without a doubt, it's the electrification of transportation. It's that infrastructure solution. So what we have is the world's only transportable, solar-powered electric vehicle charging infrastructure solution. Our customers in general who are deploying EV chargers to charge their electric vehicles are faced with a choice. They can either go out and go through the 100-year-old model of connecting to the utility grid, which is a time-consuming, painful, and often very expensive process. It can take as much as 18 to 24 months to go through the planning and construction, digging trenches, pouring concrete, pulling wires. So they can choose to do that, or they can get in touch with us. And in a matter of a few minutes, we can deploy a transportable, solar-powered technology solution which replaces that 100-year-old model. It's much faster, much more scalable, lower total cost of ownership, and we continue to operate during blackouts and brownouts, which of course is vital when you're running an electric fleet. That's where most of our revenues come from. In fact, about 94% of our 2018 revenues came from the sale of that product, and a great majority of it from government installations, it has to be said.
And I'll note that your revenue was up in 2018, 300% over the prior year. So it was record revenue in 2018. What were the main drivers of that performance?
Yeah, 336% actually, Dave, and we're very happy about that. Of course, that's what we're in business to do, is to grow this great company. I think there's a couple of factors playing here. First of all, obviously, there's a lot more adoption of electric vehicles going on at the moment. The absolute numbers are still quite low, but the growth is really phenomenal, what we're looking at year over year. If you chart the growth of our sales next to the growth of the sales of electric vehicles globally, what you'll see is two lines which are almost identical. We're in lockstep with that growth. And that's helpful in terms of forecasting the future for us as well. As we look at the future, we just look at future sales of electric vehicles. It gives us a good indication of where we're going. So great growth in the underlying industries that we're approaching. And then the second factor will be we just haven't been recognized for what we're doing in the past. We haven't committed a lot of money to sales and marketing because we've put all of those finite resources into engineering and product development. But now we're starting to get the message out, and we're winning great customers. City of New York, State of California, Google, and many others. And success breeds success. As more people hear about us, more people learn how great the product is, the problems it solves, and buy from us. And we continue to see more and more of that growth.
How big is the market opportunity?
Well, You know, it depends on who you talk to. Bloomberg's put this at $2.7 trillion over the next decade. There are 1.2 billion cars on the road today, moving to 2 billion in 2040. They'll all be electric. That's going to mean hundreds of millions of EV chargers, electric vehicle chargers required. We have the fastest deployed, most scalable solution available out there today. So it's measured in the trillions, and we intend to take as much of it as we can get our hands on.
Well, talk to us about your business model. How does Envision Solar make money?
You know, it's one of the other things I love about this company. It's a very simple company. It's easy to understand our value proposition, easy to understand the value of the products that bring. It's also easy to understand how we make money. For the most part, today, we sell our products. And again, mostly to government customers, about 94% in 2018. I think that mix will continue through 2020. And then we're going to see a major pickup in the enterprise, non-governmental side of our revenue mix. But today, it's about selling and leasing those products to those customers. We're able to take funds from interesting buckets because we're a resiliency product. We're a disaster preparedness product as well. So it's not just coming out of EV charging or sustainability funding. We're also getting dollars out of resiliency and disaster preparedness. Now, moving forward, as a result of our partnership with Outfront Media, we're going to see, I believe, a great deal of growth in that side of the business. And so 2020 and onwards, we'll probably see a big pickup in revenues there. But right now, it's simple, easy to understand, lots of growth. We haven't scratched the tip of the iceberg. And again, a tremendous opportunity in front of us.
What type of intellectual property does Envision maintain?
Yeah, again, very simple, easy to understand. We have multiple patents on our products. But I'm going to tell you, Dave, we're not a company that just goes around chasing patents so that we can decorate our walls with them. All of the patents that we have are out in the street making money for us. And we're very disciplined about how we spend money on intellectual property protection. It needs to be demonstrated that it's going to create a clear barrier to entry for competition. And when it is, we'll invest in that. And frankly, that's what our patents do today. Now, we also have a couple of products which are patent pending. Same rules apply. We believe there are great opportunities in the market for these products, and we believe that the intellectual property coverage that we're getting over them will create a significant barrier to entry for others coming in. And by the way, the proof in that is that as we look at our largest selling product, the EV ARC, there simply isn't any product competition out there for it at the moment. To do what we do, you have to infringe on our patents, and what we do is vital to the growth of the industry.
Desmond, to recap today, what is the main takeaway for investors? Why should they take an interest in your company today?
Well, I think if you look at what we do for our customers, it always starts with that. We're solving really significant challenges for our customers. We're doing it in unique ways which are protected with intellectual property. We're growing into massive and yet underserved markets, and again, in a unique and very valuable way for our customers. So if you accept that, as an investor, you look at the industries that we're going into, the growth and electrification of transportation. You look at the outdoor media space, which is the third fastest growing advertising medium today. You look at energy security, which is becoming increasingly important, and realize that we have these unique ways of moving forward. And then look at the fact that we're debt-free. We have a very clean cap structure. We've just gone through 18 months of incredible scrutiny as we moved from the bulletin board up to NASDAQ. We're now on a NASDAQ national exchange. It's just a great time to be involved in Envision. And finally, I'd encourage you to look at the comps. Our valuation, you won't be surprised to hear me say this, I think is way lower than it should be. And it's certainly lower than a lot of companies that have far less to offer than we do. So I just think it's a great time to do this, and we look forward to having people involved.
Desmond, thank you for being with us today.
It's been my great pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Now, to get more information about Envision Solar, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. Now let's get to our last company interview today. It's with DGLY. Their stock symbol is DGLY on the NASDAQ.
Dan, thanks for being with us today.
Glad to be here, Dave.
DGLY is one of the leaders in in-car video and body camera systems. Talk to us about your technology.
You know, our claim to fame is in-car video and body cameras for law enforcement. We were one of the very first to come out with a completely solid state system that was encapsulated in the rear view mirror. So it was a nice piece of equipment that would be installed in whether it was an F-150 pickup or a Crown Victoria or a Dodge Charger, just didn't matter. So you had a complete in-car video system with dual cameras, just virtually easy to install, 45 minutes, and capable of handling the needs that the officers utilize today.
Stan, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in DGLY today?
Dave, not only we have a big presence in law enforcement with both in-car video and body cameras, but we're also have a very nice foothold in the commercial side. And what I mean by the commercial side, you're talking about taxi cabs, you're talking about ambulances, in small buses such as the parking spot. We actually provide Royal Caribbean cruise lines with body cameras as well. And most recently just signed a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs to help them with their events at their stadium.
Talk to us about your business model. How does the company make money?
So the business model is sort of tailored to what the end user's need is. For instance, law enforcement often gets big grants, and they need to spend their money right then and there, and they typically do. You have other services, such in the taxi cabs and even the events like at Arrowhead Stadium, where they really need the equipment, but they need it for a particular time, or an event like a Chiefs game, or in the same situation with taxi cabs. They are used to a monthly fee subscription, so you could do it that way. So we have two different approaches, but at the end of the day, we customize the package for what the end user's need is.
How big is the market for your technology?
Law enforcement is, I think they've estimated to be in around $2 billion. It really depends on the amount of grant money that sort of comes into that sandbox. But if you look at the commercial side and how big that could be, it's just overwhelming. And give you just a real quick example, we're doing a pilot for a retail shop. Now, this retail facility has over 14,000 storefronts, and it actually is in the automotive business. And so while you look at that as a storefront and you're thinking immediately body cameras, what you forget about is that this particular facility has 14,000 delivery vans that they deliver parts to the other mechanics around town. So in-car video is very big there. The commercial business is extremely bigger than law enforcement, and that's why we've been focusing a lot of our effort that way.
Stan, talk to us about how your technology is different from your competitors, and also about the need of law enforcement agencies for your technology.
When it comes to technology, you have to make sure that you have chain of custody issues surrounded, your law enforcement equipment for sure. That also does apply a lot into the commercial market, especially when you're dealing with ambulances and HIPAA and stuff along those lines. But, one of the things that we've done that's very unique is we have a product called the ViewLink. The ViewLink is an auto activation device that it's patented, that we have out there that allows, once an officer turns on, let's say, his lights to pull someone over, not only does it activate his in-car system, but it also activates his body camera. Because the last thing you want is a situation where an officer went up to pull someone over, there's an incident, and the gentleman did not turn on his body camera. That would be worse than not having a body camera at all. So auto activation is very important. As a matter of fact, there was a recent shooting in Philadelphia in which 6 cars responded. Officer shooting involved, and 6 other police cars showed up. Only 1 officer remembered to turn on his body camera. So this takes that extra step out of the equation when they are actually heading for a situation that could be quite dangerous.
You recently had a settlement with WatchGuard, who had violated some of your patents. We also saw a recent ruling on a case regarding Axon, who you believe has violated your patents.
Yeah, so I want to say going back into 2016, we have had our patents challenged in the patent office, and we're successful in defending those patent challenges on technically 9 different occasions. And so when we went into the courtrooms, we had everything going our way as well. Most of the rulings were coming our direction. The lawsuits were with WatchGuard and one with Axon. And WatchGuard agreed to enter into a settlement agreement with us, in which we received $6 million as part of the settlement. There's a lot of things in there that are confidential and in attorney's eyes only. But then recently we just had and one that we've been fighting the longest, it was with Axon, in which we believe that there was a real error being made in regards to, let's say, a decision made by the judge. So we've already filed for an appeal on it. But again, we're very confident that the auto activation technology and the patents are solid as can be. They just claim that they don't violate that patent, or at least that was the ruling, and we still disagree. And it's tough for judges. I mean, you got to realize they're not engineers. So sometimes they make mistakes and it's got to go a little higher up.
What's the main takeaway, again, to recap today for investors? Why should they consider owning your stock today?
You know, and I've said this for some time, Dave, I don't think you invest in companies based upon litigation. And so we have an absolute solid portfolio of technology. But as of today, we just even announced that we will be starting to ship next week in regards to our Evo HD, which is a system that we introduced a little over 3 months ago that we were coming out with it. And we already had well over what our expectations could have been in regards to pre-orders. There's over 70 different law enforcement agencies that have already pre-ordered this device, and we'll start shipping next week. So real excited about it. It is absolutely the state of the art. It's clearly the strongest, highest well-performing in-car system that we've designed to date.
Stan, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dave.
Now, to get more information about Digital Ally, visit DGLYinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. Now, it's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news, or you can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. Now, let's recap the 3 public companies we met with today. First, cbdMD, stock symbol YCBD on the New York Stock Exchange American. Record second quarter sales puts the company at a $22 million annual revenue run rate. Long term, the company is targeting $300 million in sales over the next 5 years, and with the help from their world-class sponsorships and growing distribution opportunities, they are well on their way to achieving this goal. Learn more at YCBDinfo.com. Then Envision Solar, stock symbol EVSI on the NASDAQ. Envision Solar's high-quality solar products are driving strong sales growth with government and commercial customers. Targeting 3 large industry verticals, the upside is huge. Call 1-800-RedChip or email info@redchip.com to learn more about this opportunity. The final company you met today was Digital Ally, stock symbol DGLY on the NASDAQ. Digital Ally's patented ViewLink auto activation technology is the first product on the market to integrate in-car cameras and body-worn video, making them an attractive vendor for law enforcement. New opportunities in commercial fleet operations and even consumer applications provide strong future growth opportunities. Learn more at DGLYinfo.com. Again, if you have any questions about today's featured companies, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. And remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Many of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, so always read our disclosures at redchip.com. I'm John Cunningham. Thanks for being with us today.